Hi, I'm Nina Harfman with Columbus Audubon, and in this volunteer spotlight, we're meeting Dr. Dave Horn and his wife, Roz Horn, who between them have almost 60 years of volunteer experience just with Columbus Audubon.
That's right.
Wow, that's a lot.
Dave, can you think back to that first volunteer experience? How did it happen? How did this all begin?
Well, with Columbus Audubon, I was already involved in Audubon when I got to Ohio. I'd been involved with Audubon for quite a few years, and so it was sort of a natural that I would hook up with the local Audubon chapter. And part of the reason for that is I've always believed as a volunteer that you get involved in an organization because of what other volunteers have done beforehand, and you need to carry that on forward. So I'd been involved with some other Audubon chapters. I actually got involved with Audubon first when I was 10 years old. I was the president of the Junior Audubon Society at William Robinson School in Augusta, Georgia. After my third grade teacher, who volunteered for Audubon, got us enthused about Audubon activities.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever work side by side on a volunteer project?
We've worked side by side on Eco Weekend.
Okay. And that's probably what you're most noted for, would be Eco Weekend.
That has been my major area of volunteer work, is on the committee planning Eco Weekend.
Very good.
Partly she got drafted by the president of Columbus Audubon at the time.
Which might have been
Who might have been me, yes.
Okay. What stands out as the most satisfying or the most enjoyable?
I think it's been seeing new volunteers develop and being able to contribute to that, and people start attending activities such as field trips and so forth, and they get involved, they get enthused, and from among those people emerges the next generation of leadership that carries on the volunteer tradition. That's the most meaningful thing to me.
And I have an answer to your earlier question
Sure.
about the most meaningful thing to me.
Mm-hmm.
Watching families come to Eco Weekend year after year, and some do. I watched a young man grow up, become a young adult, and he became a program leader. Mm-hmm. And I saw that whole process, and that's mm-hmm. exactly what Dave's talking about.
Exactly.
Turning the next generation into volunteers.
What are the qualities of a volunteer? Can you spot that in someone? How would someone know if they're suited for volunteer work?
I think the biggest issue is having patience yourself and a commitment to the cause and a knowledge of the cause. And so in terms of an organization like Audubon, where we have a mission to conserve the natural environment and to educate people in natural history, and obviously birds is the emphasis, but basically conservation education are the two cornerstones of Audubon. So it certainly helps if you understand that going in. And then as far as patience is concerned, one of the issues that one runs into in all volunteer organizations is the reality that there are people who may not be as committed as you are, and they're giving what they can. And I think there's a tendency to get very zealous for the cause and zealous for volunteerism and ask, and why don't these other people feel as I do? Well, maybe they do. But they, for whatever reason, they don't have the time. They're holding down 2 jobs. They've got a sick grandmother someplace or other, and so they're supportive of what you're doing, but they just can't step up every time, and that becomes a frustration to people who are committed to an organization.
Sure.
I think another element of volunteers is recognizing when you might have something, a quality in yourself that is going to be helpful to the organization. Mm-hmm. I have organizational skills, and Perfect. I have put them to work in my profession. Mm-hmm. And when I learned that I could put my own skills to work for the Eco Weekend Committee, it was a natural fit.
Well, we can see that you're in the process of moving, sadly, to the East Coast. And the thought crosses my mind, are you going to hit the ground running? Are you going to jump right in and serve in the Audubon group?
He already has. He has found Mass Audubon, and they have found him.
Okay.
Yes, yes. In fact, I'm going on 2 Christmas bird counts in the next couple of weeks in Massachusetts, and then coming back and doing 2 more in Ohio.
Well, thank you for your time with us today. You will be sorely missed. We'd love to hear more of your stories because I know you're going to remain active and have a lot more that comes your way.
Indeed.
If you would like more information on volunteer opportunities with Columbus Audubon, go to columbusaudubon.org.
Bye.